Hi guys and girls, and welcome to another episode of Kook Shed, my own little YouTube channel where I share ideas, tips and reviews related to surfing and bodyboarding generally. So today I just want to have a quick chat about wetsuit zippers. I've touched on this subject before, but this one I just want to go a little bit more in depth because it's winter here at the moment where I am, and people might be looking for a new wetsuit to keep them warm, but this sort of applies to any wetsuit that you might be using at any time of year. So over the years I've noticed that there's been a trend in wetsuit making to use zippers that have very small metal teeth. I've discussed this issue in some of the wetsuit reviews I've already done, so you might want to check them out. But yeah, back in the day they used to just make wetsuit zippers, or the ones I remember were all plastic, YKK brand, and they had very large plastic teeth on them. These are surfing wetsuits I'm talking about. Diving ones might be different, I'm not sure, or other water sports, but generally for surfing, bodyboarding, the zippers they used were chunky plastic YKK zippers. Now there was also some metal ones going around, and they were cool too. You just had to watch they didn't rust over time. But most were stainless steel, so it wasn't really that much of an issue. Now, like I said, I've noticed at the moment, currently, there seems to be a trend to use the cheapest possible zippers in these wetsuits that they're bringing out. Mostly, I don't want to generalise, but yeah, mostly in the sort of base models, the entry point models, the basic wetsuits that you might buy just to get you by. For instance, like a rip curl wetsuit, if you didn't want to spend money on the high end ones, like a Dawn Patrol is a sort of base model wetsuit. I know they use them in those wetsuits, and the Quicksilver Synchros, they use these small toothed zippers, and they're just no good. They're just no good. I don't know why they would do it, well, apart from cutting costs, but it's not good for the consumer in any way, apart from maybe saving a couple of dollars. So I've had a few of these wetsuits with the smaller tooth metal zips, and pretty much all of them have had issues in some way. So I'll just show you what I'm talking about. I've got a couple of examples. So this is a Rip Curl Dawn Patrol, and I think it's a 4.3, so they're not cheap. They're not cheap to get. You know, Rip Curl are generally a bit pricier than other ones, but yeah, they've got these very small metal teeth. They're usually grey in colour, the teeth that I've noticed, and I rinse them when I have a surf. When I get out of the surf, I rinse my wetsuits with fresh water and hang them in the shade, and I make sure I get the zippers nice and rinsed off from the salt, just so there's nothing to sort of corrode the zippers if I'm not going to use that wetsuit for a little while, or I just do it out of habit, okay? And it still doesn't seem to make much difference in the long run. Like this one here, it's the actual head of the zip, the toggle that is attached to the zipper has broken out of the zipper itself. So the loop, the metal part that was holding that in has just snapped from exposure to salt water and corrosion. And now it is really hard to pull that head of that zipper across. Now if you're in a hurry to get in the water, the last thing you want to do, you know, you might hop in your wetsuit, go down to the sand, and then do the zip up right just as you go in. And you don't want to hop into your wetsuit and get down to the water and realise that you can't even close up your wetsuit that you've bought and paid good money for because of a faulty inferior piece of it. So the rest of the wetsuit's fine, like the rest of the wetsuit works great. It's just now pretty much unusable because of these cheap zippers. And these same zippers, just like the head of the zip has corroded there, the teeth do as well. You'll get them locking together, and then like you'll get them fusing to the teeth, like the head of the zipper fusing to the teeth, and they will no longer slide. I've got another tip in one of my other videos on how to get it loose, how to fix a stuck zipper. But I've found that even if you do that and you do other precautions and measures to keep these zippers from locking up, they just keep doing it. Like you might leave your wetsuit for a couple of weeks while you're using another one, and you'll come back to use it and it's started locking up again. Like it happens that quickly, and it's just not acceptable for something that goes in salt water and then dries, and goes in salt water then dries. It's just not the right material at all. It's just not working and I don't like seeing a good wetsuit go to waste just because of one faulty part that they could easily fix, or you know, replace with a better zip. So we've got another one here. This is a Quicksilver Synchro. This is just a spring suit too, just for summer. So same sort of thing has happened here. The part that you pull on to zip this thing across has sort of snapped off. It just broke one day, and even the teeth are sort of getting a bit corroded, and it's getting harder for the zipper to sort of slide along easily. And now that the part that you pull is gone, it's getting harder and harder to put on, so it's just less enjoyable to use. I'm less satisfied with the product, and I probably wouldn't get one again. Now with this one here, luckily there's still a little loop. You probably can't see it because it's so far from the camera, but there's still a little metal loop still attached to the zipper on this one, thank goodness. I could probably put a little something on there so that I can make it easy to pull across. So that one's still sort of salvageable. But when it comes to it, you shouldn't have to be doing this sort of thing to your equipment all the time. It's not on. When you're paying good money, these are brand name wetsuits. These aren't cheap, you know, ones that you find at the sports shop. These are surf sports wetsuits, and it's just not good enough. I don't like seeing good wetsuits suddenly not be able to be used because of these zippers just breaking all the time, and I don't like missing out on a good surf because the wetsuit I brought with me suddenly has decided to break a zip just as I'm getting down to the water or getting into it at the car park. It's just not on. So I advise you to, if you're buying a wetsuit, especially a sort of lower tier wetsuit, check the zips. Make sure the zips are good. So there's some companies that don't use these small zips, small tooth zips, and they've been really good. Vissla use good zips, and there's a couple of others that definitely, like O'Neill. I think O'Neill, I think they have a metal one, like stainless steel head and plastic teeth. Don't quote me on it, but I've never had a problem with O'Neill zips. I've never had a problem with Vissla, and even the Zion zippers are good. So they're good because they use the bigger teeth. They're either plastic or metal, but they're just bigger and they're made of a better metal. These ones just seem like they're not stainless steel, that's for sure. They're just metal that's painted with like black or grey paint, and the paint comes off pretty easy, the coating comes off pretty easy after a bit of use. So yeah, go the big chunky ones. Like back zip wetsuits, like back in the day when everyone just had back zip wetsuits. Yeah, they had the big chunky black plastic teeth on their zips going all the way down the back, and they were never a problem. Like, unless you know, maybe get some wax caught in it and then sand caught in the wax, well then yeah, you might get some issues, but generally they were just no problem. And I've just noticed recently that more and more of these wetsuits, even brand names, are having these issues with the zippers. So save your money and look for big chunky zip teeth. Like, compare them in the surf shop. You'll see what I mean. You'll see that some wetsuits have the bigger teeth and others have the smaller, really small grey or black teeth here, and they're metal, and they just, yeah, avoid them. Please avoid them, because you will, even if you're rinsing these wetsuit zippers and wetsuits after every surf, sooner or later they're going to probably fail, and usually way before the neoprene or any of the seams fail at all. And ironically, I've had these zippers fail like just after the wetsuit has, the warranty is expired. It just seems to happen. Like, they just last a certain amount of time. You might get one season out of them and the warranty runs out and then they break. So that's my tip for today. I try not to make negative videos if I can help it, but this one, it's just got to be said. It's got to be put out there, because hopefully the wetsuit companies will listen to people if more and more people are sort of bringing this issue up, and because it's just not acceptable in a saltwater sport where these things are designed to be, they're supposed to be designed to go in salt water, and to have zips that are definitely not meant for that. We need to fix that issue and put that issue out there so people see it and are aware of it, and don't get ripped off and don't waste their money on inferior zips. So yeah, when you're in the surf shop or wherever you shop for your wetsuits, make sure you get a good brand with the good zips, with the big chunky teeth. That's all I'll say. Now, once you've got one of those wetsuits, you still have to rinse the zip. I would still, rinse the wetsuit, rinse the zipper, make sure you get right in there and just get any salt water off the teeth of the zip, off the head of the zip. Make sure it's rinsed properly before hanging it up to dry in the shade. And if you bought the right zipper, like the ones I recommend, it should last you years you should get lots of happy, good use out of your wetsuit. So yeah, avoid the Synchro zips, avoid the Dawn Patrol zips. I'm sure there's some others out there that are using them. Let us know in the comments if you found other wetsuits using these small toothed, tiny, just inferior zips, and hopefully we can help other people avoid this problem, and sort of encourage people to shop with the companies that are using proper materials, proper zippers in their wetsuits. Or you can check out my video on zipperless wetsuits too. Zipperless wetsuits obviously don't have a zipper, so you're not going to have that problem, and they're actually cheaper because you're not paying for a zipper to be installed in the wetsuit. So maybe that's an idea for you too, if you want to avoid that problem altogether. And I've done that. I've bought some zipperless wetsuits and they're really warm and great, so that's another option for you as well. But anyway, I just wanted to have a quick sort of whinge about that and just let you know, save your money, get a good zip, and you do the normal wetsuit care tips that I've told you about in earlier videos, and you should be fine. Okay, so hopefully that helped you out. Hopefully it saved you some money. If you've got some other ideas or comments that might help us as a community, other people out there checking this video out, let us know in the comments. If it was helpful to you, hit like, and if you want to see more ideas, reviews, tips related to surfing and bodyboarding in the future from me, just hit subscribe, and I'll see you here next time on Kook Shed. Thanks for dropping in. Catch ya.